All right, good morning. I think Commissioner McCurdy's running a little late, but we'll go ahead and start because we have a few things on the agenda. So, do we start with the Pledge of Allegiance and everything? Okay. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So this is the first period for public comment. Oh, sorry, roll call. Roll call. And I think this is the meeting, we don't have any of those other things ahead of time, so thank you. All right, roll call.
Chairperson Tick Segerblum,
Here.
Vice Chairperson Nancy Bruni,
Present.
Commissioner Larry Blackman,
Present.
Commissioner Marissa Brown,
Present.
Commissioner Richard Churchio,
Present.
Commissioner Carrie Cox,
Present.
Commissioner Michael Disman, Commissioner William McCurdy, Commissioner Luciana Turner.
Present.
A quorum is present. This meeting has been properly noticed, and we are in compliance with the Nevada Open Meeting Law.
And Mr. Chair, we'll let the records show when Mr. McCurdy walks in that he's present.
Great, thank you.
All right.
All right,
Public comment.
so this is the first period for public comment. Anyone wishing to speak on an item on the agenda can come forward now. Seeing no one, we'll close the public hearing and turn it over to the executive director.
So just approval of the minutes?
12 minutes. So we'll go for the minutes?
Yeah. So
All right,
you-
is there a motion to approve the minutes?
Motion to approve the minutes from the January 16, 2025 board meeting.
Okay, the motion's been made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion passes.
Mr. Chair, there's no items for number 4 in the way of discussion or emergency items from the staff. We have no items.
Okay, so it looks like it's time for the report from the
Time
executive
for me.
director.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, all. Want to have a number of things to proudly report on my executive director report today, but first couple things I just wanted to get out of the way. I'd like to introduce, I have Paula come up, and Paula and Ava, they're both here, to introduce the newest members of our team. If the commissioners recall, Commissioner Disman, conversations we had around starting a pre-apprenticeship program. We did. We were successful. I'll let Paula talk about how we started with this big number of people and the fantastic 5 that are now employees here at the Housing Authority. I'll let her speak to that.
Good afternoon,
Is there anyone left at the city?
What was that now?
I said, is there anyone left at the city?
Oh, well, you know, I guess if you look at it that way, probably not. These are individuals who actually live in public housing. These are our residents, tenants, and that they answered the call. And Paul will talk about how we went from 200 down to...
Actually, 300. But good afternoon, commissioners. I'm Paula Tucker, Director of Supportive Services. Around this time last year, as you know, we talked about having an apprenticeship program, and so we started a recruitment. We put it out there. We started with IT. We actually told Tommy we want to run this like every day to all residents for like 2 weeks. And literally within 4 days, we were inundated with responses. So we were like, shut it down, shut it down. So we had about 300 people that had RSVP'd for the orientations. We had 2 very large orientations in this room, one in the morning, one in the afternoon. We talked all about the expectations, the background checks, drug testing, everything that it would take. By the time we went through all of that process, it dwindled down to about 20 applicants. Out of those 20 applicants, we were left with 5. And we're really worried, like, how are 5 people, what are we going to have at the end of the 6-month period? And we are very proud to tell you today that out of those 5, we have 5 graduates. And we're very proud of them today. They're here with us today. And they received certificates earlier this morning. We had Ava hosted a little brunch for them. And so we're just really, really proud of their accomplishments. And they're going through the hiring process now, and we hope to have them on staff as permanent SNRHA employees very soon. So thank you so much for.
Stand up, guys.
Could you all stand up? There you go.
Oh, would you guys want to say anything? Come on.
Why don't everybody come up and face and stand in front of the commissioners? And the commissioners, we're going to have you all stand.
Just stand up for a picture.
So why don't we stand back this way? There you go. Everybody over here.
Okay, let's go ahead. Come on, let's get a little closer.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay. You cannot see. Yeah, you can't see. Commissioner.
1, 2, and 3. One more. 1, 2, and 3. Perfect.
Oh, good. Come speak. You gonna speak?
Yeah, I will.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
First of all, I just want to thank all you council members for getting this program started and giving us all the opportunity. Along the way, I've worked with some great individuals, all 5 of us, as they call the Fantastic 5. I do like that term, though. I'm going to coin that for the next class. They won't get that. But it was just a different experience, you know, getting to work amongst the people and getting the benefit from a program that I had a voucher myself. So this has given me some economic stability, being able to complete this program, and I'm thankful for it. And again, I just want to say thank you all, and looking forward to assisting someone else in the future like I was assisted. And that's it.
And I think, didn't we just have someone retire who started out as an apprentice?
Absolutely.
So you guys got 30 more years at least.
So good afternoon,
I'm sorry,
commissioners.
Commissioner Cox says.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I just,
Commissioner.
if I don't take the opportunity, I'll forget. So let me just say how proud I am of each one of you, and I know that all of us are. You know, you're all leaders, and you need to know that. And what you've had the benefit of is leaders lifting you and creating leaders. And that's what everyone on this commission does. That I know them personally. And so it's just such a pleasure to see you all and the Fantastic 5 be able to come through this together, and that we're not at 4, right? That you stuck it out. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for really sticking it out. You give a lot of people hope, and we're grateful to have you on the team, hopefully soon, right? Thank you.
So good afternoon, commissioners. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
All right, another comment.
First of all, the leadership piece, which was provided by our executive director, and actually Commissioner Desmond, who brought the idea in the first place. So visionaries are important in what we do, and so going forward, we don't have to reinvent the wheel. We now know that it works. So let's continue to grow in those areas and just expand. Thank you.
And Commissioner Bruni has a comment.
I just wanted to echo the comments of my my fellow commissioners, but I also wanted to say, really, it's always takes a little bit of extra courage to start a new program. You guys were the guinea pigs, and I'm sure there were some kinks along the way that we will work out for the next class. So I just wanted to echo, thank you for believing in the program and believing in yourselves and for completing it. So, and when does the next cohort start?
All right, 300 people, get your applications in.
I was going to make one more comment. Thank you. Let me say thank you. And now we can get some work done, right? Okay, Thank you, all right? We should have more satisfied residents, so we have more people in the loop of helping, and the greatest reward for me was being able to receive a gift from a place that gave me something, so now you're able to give back. Thank you.
Any other comments from commissioners?
That's it.
Okay, thank you. You know, I just wanted to echo, you know, this is, if you look at what we're charged to do from HUD, it's just to provide housing. And with the leadership that you all provide and just inspiration, this speaks to us not only providing housing, but changing lives. So again, thank you all for giving us the opportunity to stretch out a little bit. And in true SNRHA fashion, you guys can get up and go to work. So we thank you. Thank you for stopping by, but you can go back to work. Thanks a lot. All right. Mr. Chair, the next thing I wanted to do, we wanted to acknowledge some employees in the way of employee recognition, and we're going to have Kathy come up and do that.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. How are you? As you know, Mr. Jordan set out 4 pillars to guide our work here at the agency. Those pillars include increased housing opportunities, increased opportunities for residents, increased and improved customer care, and investing in our employees. For employee recognition, we really like to focus on Pillar 3, which is customer care. And today I want to recognize 2 team members, different departments, but same team, who really rose above and beyond what would normally be expected. As you know, we house residents who are disabled, some physically, some emotionally and psychologically, and occasionally they actually have a medical episode. And in one case, a few weeks back, we had a tenant having a medical episode, and he was actually doing some property damage and pushed an entire plate glass window out of a second-floor building. He was at risk for potentially harming himself as he was doing that. We have 2 team members who saw that as a resident in crisis, not a crime in progress, and they responded to help him stay safe so that he wouldn't continue the property damage or harm himself or others. They called medical response to come to him, to aid him and get him to the hospital. But while that was happening, the 2 of them secured the perimeter. I walked in the middle of the perimeter, didn't even know what was going on, because they weren't excited, they weren't creating a scene, they were simply taking care of one of our residents in a way that was discreet and respectful and kept him from harming himself and others. And so this month we want to recognize Doreen Guerra and Fernando Torres. Doreen is part of the Supportive Services Department, and Fernando is a maintenance supervisor in public housing. I want both of them to come up and get that recognition. They really exemplify what customer care is about, and they did it in a way that we don't often see, but we really appreciate that. Okay, I was reminded to give, I buried the headline. When the tenant broke the plate glass window out, he was trying to jump out of the window. Fernando caught him and pulled him back. So when I say customer care, sometimes we're faced with some very serious challenges, and I want you to know you have a team on the ground that rises to those challenges in a way that is life-saving. So thank you both. And again, different departments, but just working like hand in glove to really deliver the level of customer care that we have set as the standard for SNRHA. So if you all want to say a little something, they're probably going to say no.
Thank you. I literally just found out while I was sitting at my seat that this was happening.
We're just doing our job. We're just doing our job, and I can honestly say that I love what I do, and yeah, I'm blessed to be doing what I love. Thank you.
I got nothing. I guess thank you for this privilege to work with you guys.
I love their modesty. So as part of our employee recognition, what employees get in addition to recognized here is they get a paid day off as part of their Employee of the Month package. And so thank you very much for supporting that. Did we get our picture?
No, we
Mr.
did.
Jordan?
Let's
Oh,
get up
okay.
here. Okay, come on up. Same thing, kind of.
Yeah, you have to stand right there with the commissioners behind you. And again, thanks to their colleagues from other departments who came to celebrate that, and in true SNRHA fashion, going back to work.
Get out of here. Okay. On our December board meeting, we recognized staff and an employee, staff and a resident who had been the recipient of a generous donation from the Walker Furniture Company. And we have a representative from Walker here today that I think Paula's going to introduce, and we're going to thank them.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. It's Paula Tucker, Director of Supportive Services. Again, today we have Ms. Michelle Klukas. She is a representative of Walker Furniture. Chairperson Seeger Bloom had asked if we could invite them back after we had Tina Dotson last month, when our employee that received the generous donation from Walker Furniture for the family at Landsman Gardens. So today, on behalf of Walker Furniture, she's here to accept this award. Michelle, would you come up, please?
Could we have her just come up here? Come on up here with us.
He wants you to come up there.
This is my first commissioner meeting, so I'm like very welcome. Thank you for having me.
Very good.
Get the chair out of the way. Get all the commissioners in here. Come on. Not every day
Hold
you
on,
get
hold
on
on.
Walker Furniture.
Yeah, we need our leader.
1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, and 3. Perfect.
Thank you.
Did you want, Michelle, did you want to say anything?
Sure. Thank you. Well, thank you, Commissioners. We definitely appreciate and honor the fact that we're being recognized for this. This is an annual event for us, and on behalf of Walker Furniture and the Altowitz family, thank you. It is truly an honor to work with Larry so closely and be a part of the culture of Walker Furniture, because it really is ingrained in everything they do to help the community as best they can. And it was our pleasure to, help one of the recipients with some furniture, and they started this program 31 years ago with 12 families. We were up to 35 families. That has been the highest number of nominations that we've given away. We're happy to do it. We're going to continue to do it. We are blessed to be able to give, and as long as we're in that position, we're going to do it. So thank you, and thank you for all you do for our community.
Thank you.
Very good. Okay, Commissioners, we have a few short presentations we like to do as a means of follow-ups to questions that you all have had. So first of all, we're going to have Karen come up and give us a brief overview of the Choice Neighborhood Initiative as it relates to the first phase. And as requested, you don't have to turn around. We have the information right there on the board. And so I'll let Karen go ahead.
Okay, good morning. My name is Karen Schnag. I work for the Housing Authority, and I am the Director of the Choice Neighborhood Implementation. I did not know it was short and brief, so hopefully I won't go on too long. We kind of have a three-part presentation. I'll be presenting in general about the grant and the program. Then, is Todd online? Yes, so we have our development partner who will speak a little bit more about the construction and the housing process, and then our purchasing manager, Johnny, who will talk about the Section 3 efforts that we're making. So it is truly my honor to be here talking to you about this today. I was born and raised in Las Vegas and have worked with low-income communities in the historic West Side for many years. And what we see is happening now is exactly how it's supposed to happen. What's coming together is exactly how you revitalize a distressed historic neighborhood. And when I first started working in the West Side, I was actually kind of dumbfounded how this was all going to happen, right? Like it seemed like you just had to add water and everything was going to poof up, and there was no way to make that happen, right? Because so many parts needed to work together. But now we have developers working with residents and community landowners. We have multiple levels of government all working together to create a revitalized West Side and Marble Manor that is in the vision of what the residents and the people who live there want. So that's what I find so exciting. There we go. As you can see from this rendering, this is actually a new beginning that was designed by the residents and the community. For several years, we worked on a planning grant and transformation plan that created, what came out of it was this community, a community that has rich amenities, not only in the apartments, such as washer and dryer and nice kitchens with marble countertops like you would see anywhere else in the valley, but also mixed use, mixed income. At the bottom here, you'll see that we have retail. You can see like the large windows. There's going to be retail where there will be shops that individuals from the community can open businesses. There will be daycare and early child care. There will be services provided, and that these are the things the community wanted. Also, we'll have gathering space, lots of trees to decrease that heat island effect, and a splash pad, which is my favorite. So this is what they told us they wanted, and this is what we're working together to provide. A new beginning. Actually, the New Beginning logo was designed by one of the residents of Marble Manor. The Choice Neighborhoods has basically three core goals: to support the people in this transition, which are primarily the residents, but also community members. The housing, as you know, we're going to redevelop all the housing at Marble Manor and go from 235 units to 627 units. And the neighborhood, because HUD understands and we understand that in order to sustain a new community, you have to also invest in the neighborhood. Let me go back for a second. We have several partners in this. Our people partner is Lutheran Social Services of Nevada and Revival Relocation Services. Bryn Shore, our housing partner, and you'll see Todd on that little window there. He'll be speaking in a little bit. And our neighborhood partner is the City of Las Vegas, who also is our co-grant recipient. So about what do we do for the people? I know that this is the biggest probably concern for all of you, and somewhat hearing from your constituents saying, we don't know what's happening, we're afraid to move, we don't know if we're going to get to come back. And so let's share a little bit about the support that is offered for the people. HUD insists on this, and we are thrilled to offer it. For our wraparound services, we have a well-known group, as I mentioned, Lutheran Social Services. They are providing a focus on support in education, workforce development, and healthcare. We also have the job grants, the Jobs Plus grant, which I'm sure Paula will share more in another meeting, that provides excellent support for helping people gain a new job and economic independence. So we have $10 million, the grant is for $50 million, and we have $10 million of that going into the wraparound services. In addition, we have about $5 million that goes into relocation support. That's partially from the grant and partially from the Housing Authority. For the transition services, I can tell you that Revival has gone above and beyond. I work with them on a daily basis, and they are committed and know each person that they're working with. They call me and say, so-and-so needs this, Mr. Jones wants a voucher and wants to move to this part of town, this person wants to move out of state back with their family, and these are all options that they can receive through the Choice Neighborhood Program. The relocation services include Revival helping them find a location, understanding their rights and what they might lose if they don't stay in good standing with their lease, because that's the only requirement, is to stay in good standing. And if they do stay in good standing, a resident has first choice to move back into the new housing. And then also, they pay for and arrange the entire move. Let's see. We have our housing development, which I think I mentioned, and Todd will go into. It's happening in 5 phases, so if you have somebody who says they're not, they don't know what's going on, it's because their phase hasn't started yet. And we have provided information and community meetings, but they will get direct one-on-one contact with Revival as soon as their phase comes up 6 months before. They'll start receiving information and support on their move. And moves don't just happen overnight, moves happen over a 5 to 6 month period. Let's see, I don't know if you saw the story on Channel 5, but I just want to share some information about the residents. On Channel 5, John it was a great interview, and he mentioned how excited he was to receive the services and be able to move into a new senior facility where he has a walk-in shower. But he also said, God willing, he can't wait to move back into the new residence because he sees Marble Manor as his home. And at the voucher meeting just a couple weeks ago, we had a resident who was sitting next to our voucher briefing specialist, LaToya, who's in the back of the room, and she said she wanted to move into a specific community. She was going to use the voucher to move closer to her family, who was across town in Summerlin. And LaToya said to her, well, we have a good relationship with this location who accepts vouchers, and they're actively seeking seniors. And she said, where is it? And it was exactly in the neighborhood, almost walking distance from where her family lived. So the rest of the meeting, she was beaming, and that's what keeps me going, and I think keeps all of us going, and why we do this work. So let's talk a little bit about the outreach. I have a cheat sheet here. So during the planning phase, the Housing Authority and the developer went above and beyond what was required by HUD. HUD required 2 resident meetings and 2 community meetings. The Housing Authority had 5 resident meetings and 6 community meetings to make sure they fully understood what the residents in the community wanted in the redevelopment of Marble Manor. So we take that commitment very seriously because ultimately we want people to choose to move back in to Marble Manor and other people to choose to move in. I can tell you that my daughter wants to move there when she graduates college because it's so nice and so rich of amenities. We also had, since the grant, 11 community meetings with community stakeholders, leaders, and residents invited to all of those. We had 3 meetings. We have monthly meetings at Marble Manor, and our partners were all there to provide support and answer questions. And we've sent out and hung on doors and knocked on doors. We've sent notices about what's happening and the eligibility and the rights and responsibilities for the residents. We've also contacted 95% of all residents for wraparound services to complete their first intake, and that wraparound services have started, and our relocation specialists have talked to 100% of the individuals living in Phase 1. So if you are looking for more information that's detailed like that, it's on our website under Initiatives, Choice Neighborhood. And if you go on that website, you'll see each phase. There's a button on the bottom, and you can click on it, and it'll tell you which households are in that phase, when their moving dates range will be, and demolition and construction. So that will help you answer any questions. And of course, we're always available as well to answer any questions. These are lots of facts I won't read to you. And I'm going to ask that we save questions till the end, because after Todd presents, he might answer some of your questions, and then Johnny's going to go into depth about Section 3. So next is Todd Lieberman with Brenshore Development, our partner in development. We can't hear you, Todd. So this is a rendering of some of the housing that's going to be available until Todd is able to speak. We have 2-story townhouses coming in, 3-story, and 4-story apartment complexes. Johnny, Todd? Still working on it, Todd? I'll go forward and backward to entertain you. This is what the houses look like. And if we can't, how about we have Johnny come up then and talk about Section 3 while we work on our technical difficulties, and then Todd can come back up after to wrap up.
Okay.
Can you hear me now?
Yes. I'm just going to hold on to this just in case. Yep. We can hear you, Todd. Go ahead.
Yes. You can hear me?
Yes.
Hey, that's great. Everyone give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. Ah, wonderful. Okay. Wow, that was troubling for a second there, but I am very excited to be here. My name is Todd Lieberman. I'm an executive vice president with Brenshore Development. We are honored to be working with SNRHA and with the city of Las Vegas on the New Beginning Choice Neighborhood effort. Brenshore is a 30-year-old development company. We are working on currently 6 master plan communities that are using the Choice Neighborhoods model. And Las Vegas is our most recent awarded grant from HUD, and we're very, very excited to be working to help revitalize the neighborhood for the benefit of your residents who deserve it. Our first phase is, you can see it on the screen here, and I'm going to talk to you about the first phase, is 140 units or so, and it is a collection of buildings. We'll have a mixture of 3-story low-rise buildings you can see here. It's a development that is a partnership between a Las Vegas-based architect, KME, and Roseman, which is a national architect that has done a lot of Choice Neighborhoods work. You can see some other buildings here in the slide deck. This is one, the 3-story low-rise. Then if you could scroll through this, Karen, we'll get through some of the other ones. There's some other renderings you'll see on the screen. But in general, the idea is to have buildings that are aspirational, that are exciting, and that will help respond to the excitement that the residents have about living in the completed community. And this is one of the things that the Choice Neighborhoods Initiative is really, I think, that is an important opportunity, and that is for the residents to move back, to receive a preference to move back with the right to return in an environment that is not stigmatized within a mixed income setting, where there will be market rate renters, affordable renters, as well as folks coming back from public housing. This first phase will break ground in the summer of this year and will be an opportunity for the neighborhood to begin to see some of the changes that for so long that has been planned. And we're very excited about this. I'm going to go through in the next few slides. There's a couple different slides that we're combining here. An overall description of the housing effort, and then most of this is just writing, and then I'll talk a little bit about the second phase. So this is, in total, is 627 units, and the 5 to 6 phase development is this really important collaboration where the public sector and the private sector are working shoulder to shoulder to get work done for the benefit of residents. Let's go to the next slide. So, not only is there housing, there's also going to be a variety of the services that Karen talked about and resources. We have an early childhood center that's going to be at the center of the development. There'll be parks, including the splash pad, as well as non-residential commercial spaces on the first floor, so that the development will have a variety of experiences as we move through. In addition, there'll be new streets and other streetscape and landscaping that will allow this development to feel and look new and approachable for people from all over the city. Roughly 80% of the units will be income restricted, and then a little bit more than 20%, it's actually 23%, will be market rate unrestricted housing. And what that really does is it allows this development not only to not have stigma associated with it as a form of public housing, but it will also provide an opportunity for people to live there regardless of their income. So if you have a family of people that may otherwise not be eligible to live in income-restricted tax-credit housing, this development will give you an opportunity for people to move in. And we see success in some ways being demonstrated by the wait list for the market rate and tax credits. In our most successful mixed-income developments, there really is demand from both the market rate and the income-restricted side. What's really important, again, that Karen mentioned, is this right to return. And this is central to the Choice Neighborhoods project, that residents that are in good standing will be able to move back and receive a preference during initial lease-up so that they can move back to the newly redeveloped community, and they'll be provided supportive services so that they'll be ready to move in and that they're ready to reintegrate within the community. Next slide, please. I talked about the early childhood that will be on site, as well as some of the really interesting elements within the development. This part of J Street and the green spines that will have these meandering green open spaces moving throughout the development, and are really a centerpiece of the development, this part of J Street, this public gathering space center of the community. The development will be Energy Star certified and also meet national green building standards. Next slide. In addition, there are other green elements such as cool roofs, shaded entrances, and other elements that will help both reduce energy consumption in the development and make the development more attractive for residents to live there. So the next slide. These are some items that are being provided by both the Housing Authority and Lutheran Social Services. So residents, when they move into this development, will have a variety of services, whether it's relocation assistance, through revival, through supportive services, where self-sufficiency coordinators will help to provide additional functions of job training, education, financial empowerment, so that residents have a targeted plan that will help their families as they move through this transition. Residents also will be have a seat at the table, and there will be resident councils that will be created so that residents will have a platform to not only live in the community but also shape some of the programs and priorities. So next slide. So again, as I said, the phase one will start this summer. Phase two, we have some applications in right now. So if anyone we have a very large request in for CHF funds, which are critical to a very large second phase. We actually have 183 units that we're applying for through the CHF program, as well as various competitive tax credit programs. The application is for $15 million, which is by far, this is the biggest phase of development. It's very important for us to secure this funding to be able to move forward on the second phase next year. We're also submitting other applications as we go, but that $15 million request from the county is extremely important. We're very excited about this partnership with SNRHA and with the city, and I plan on being a fixture at these meetings. I plan on not taking much time, but I hope to meet all of you in person someday soon, as well as some of our colleagues. There's a great team working on this, and we are honored to be your partner, working shoulder to shoulder with you to accomplish this master plan community, this revitalization effort, so that the residents of Marble Manor have a beautiful community to call home now and in the future. So thank you very much for your time.
Very good. And Johnny, you want to wrap us up, talk about, and Todd, why don't you stick around? We want to talk a little bit about the efforts we've been taking to improve and enhance our Section 3 program.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Johnny Shaw, Procurement Manager. The following slides outline the proposed Section 3 and Minority Outreach Plan that Brenshaw and SNRHA will partner to achieve Section 3 benchmarks during the CNI Marble Manor project. The first slide identifies our existing outreach efforts that we provide during our solicitation efforts. The second slide identifies or outlines the Section 3 Minority, MBE, and WBE outreach plan for Marble Manor. SNRHA is also encouraged by HUD recently in the last few months to reach out to other housing authorities to see how they implement their Section 3 plan. So we did reach out to, Mr. Jordan did reach out to New Orleans Housing Authority, and we got some really good information from their policy that we would like to review and look at and possibly implement it into our own Section 3 policy. And though some of those are limited to, but not all, that we would begin requiring prime contractors to submit a Section 3 training plan. If they don't have openings, they need to submit a training plan along with their solicitation, as well as a employment action plan for the project, and also require them to submit employment and training schedule during the solicitation process. So those will give us a little bit more teeth, I think, some of those plans, action plans, and so we're looking to implement those in the near future. Next slide. These are our current efforts that we include in our solicitations. We mentioned the Section 3 during our pre-bid conferences. I send out quarterly emails to all of their existing contractors. The DevMod department discusses Section 3 at all of their pre-construction meetings, and procurement also sends out Section 3 job listings to all of our properties whenever we have those openings, and to the FSS recipients. And Supportive Services is now responsible for the full engagement of SNRHA's residents to foster strategic alignment with increasing efforts with our Section 3 program. These are this is the plan that Brenshaw and SNRHA will be working, coinciding with together. One thing I like is that we're coupling or incorporating the minority supplier base along with the Section 3 requirements. And so we're looking to hit those numeric goals, the 15% for minority, 15% for woman-owned, and 30% for local participation. And we're looking to meet, with this plan, we're looking to meet the Section 3 requirements for targeted, which is 25% of total labor hours, and then non-targeted, which is 5% labor hours. The outreach strategy, Brenshaw and SNRHA will conduct 3 outreach meetings before each phase. One thing we're looking to do is something new, which is hosting a construction barbecue for the contractors and subcontractors to engage and enhance our local workforce. Plan outreach events, kickoff meeting 3 to 5 months before the bid opening, overview of project scope, bidding opportunities and compliance requirements. During the pre-bid meeting, less than 1 month before the bid opening, prepare subcontractors for upcoming bid opportunities. During the bid opening, address final questions from the general contractors, maybe combined with the pre-bid meeting if needed. And as I mentioned, the construction barbecue, which encourages Section 3 worker participation and community engagement. Additional outreach efforts, there will be email blasts going out to the county, city, the College of Southern Nevada, our website, GoEd, all of the municipalities. We're going to try to hit those websites with our information as it relates to Section 3. Direct outreach to urban and Latin chambers, on-site Section 3 certification facilitation, multilingual engagement, Spanish and English, to ensure broad participation, as well as local consultant partnership for informal outreach, technical assistance, and bid preparation support. Also, training and workforce development, aligning training efforts with the people plan that's already in place with LSSN, local Lutheran Social Services. And this is the last slide. We will maintain an updated list of local certified MBE and WB, as well as Section 3 businesses. Brenshaw will submit monthly reports on the MBE and WBE and local expenditures, and contractor certifications will be required at bid solicitation and contract signing for MBE, WB, and Section 3 compliance. And then the last portion there shows your Phase 1 schedule, kickoff meeting in March, general contractor RFP, RFQ issued also in March, selection of the general contractor in May of this year, as well as the subcontractor selection in June of this year. That concludes my presentation.
Thank you. I had some questions.
Yes, sir.
If you could go back. So is there a project labor agreement, or is there a requirement to do prevailing wage?
That would probably be a Brenshaw question. I'm not sure. I can tell you that we do have to comply with Davis-Bacon, if that's what you're asking. Yeah, the project is Davis-Bacon driven.
That's fine. And I know the city has minority business qualified, and the county does too, so hopefully they're included as far as you're reaching out.
Absolutely. We'll be reaching out to all the municipalities.
Yes. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I wanted to speak to the, when you said the email blast and who you were trying to outreach, and I've said this probably before, and thank you for the Section 3, race. My thing is the youth. Right now, they're doing a lot of vocations in schools. I just know of one, Mater Academy, but Havoc. They're doing a lot of things now for the students, and some of these 17, 18-year-olds, if we can target maybe some of the CCSD schools or even the charter schools that might have some of those skills that, they might be preferring for them to enter the workforce after they leave, if they're not college-bound students, maybe a trade or a skill can assist. And this might be the very catalyst that we need to, rally these young people to make a difference in their communities through their work efforts.
Absolutely. And Todd, I think that's something we need to look at as we move forward with the plan, is engaging the youth, as well as maybe the Youth Build organization locally here.
Yeah, that's a great point. I'd love to follow up with you and Johnny afterwards with a contact for organizations and schools you can reach out to.
great. We'll make sure that's included.
This is Nancy. I have one comment and then a question for you, Todd. I was thinking maybe in addition to the Urban and Latin Chamber, you may want to include the Women's Chamber and the Veterans Chamber, please.
Got it.
Thank you. And then, Todd, you mentioned on one of your slides, you're hoping to apply for funding for, I guess, phase 2 or some of the funding through AHP, CHF, and home grants. So my question is, whenever there's an application, there's some risk greater than zero that we will not get the grant. And with things changing in DC, I don't know if those are some DC-based grants or federal versus state. What happens if we are not successful getting the grants? Does that mean phase 2 will be delayed? Can you just walk through what happens or what percentage of the funding will come from, or are you looking for phase 2 with those 3 grant applications you mentioned, please?
So the Choice Neighborhoods grant has been secured. So that's why we have a grant agreement. The Housing Authority signed a grant agreement. So that appears safe right now from HUD. The CHF funds is a big source. So because the county put out an application, opened an application round, we ended up consolidating a couple phases into a larger phase that could move quicker to help to provide permanent relocation opportunities for residents faster. So that application has been submitted, and we're hoping that that will be funded. We did receive a grant from the county last year. The federal funds, the Home Investment Partnership Program is a HUD program that has been funded this year. We don't know what the future holds, but it's a smaller portion of the total pie, the total funding. So we are hopeful that will be funded, but there may be an issue with if anything comes out from some of the work that's going on in DC right now. AHP is funded. That's within the Federal Home Loan Bank system, and it's again, we're applying for that. I think that you raised a very important point, and that is that these financial structures are dependent on not only resources that we have secured, but resources that we're constantly applying for, whether it's private financing or public. And this is the world we live in. We apply for a source of financing all the time and put the deals together. It's almost like a sandwich making process that we're constantly going through for mixed finance development programs like this. Our job is to go after every source we can and try to put the deal together and close in a time frame that's as quick as possible, because everything changes, from time to time. So the answer to your question is, we believe we have a capital stack that works, a financing structure that works, and we'll continue to apply, but things will change, and we'll work with the Housing Authority and with the city to adjust the changes as we go. So that's the answer to that is, we are going to keep on applying and keep on working as hard as we can to get these deals done, but we can't predict it. We'll work as closely as possible with you and with the city if things change. But that is my best description of the world we live in, which is a constantly changing world. To give you some comfort, we just closed out 7 phases in Kansas City, the Choice Neighborhoods effort, on time and with the resources needed. In Omaha, we're just about to finish our first 7-phase development there, and we're on our next 9-phase development. We're working in Norfolk and in Knoxville right now on multiple phases. So some of this, is based on our experience at securing these funds, but some of it will take support and advocacy from the board of SNRHA and from the city to help resources that may be competitive to make sure they're coming to our development. Short question. Hopefully that provided some background.
So I'm going to push you a little bit, Todd, because I don't feel like you actually did answer the question. So I know that you're hopeful and you have a great track record and you have a strong financing package with your capital deck, but should you not get these 3 grants that you mentioned, are we looking at a delay of implementing phase 2 or buildings or structures that are half built? So if you could just sort of share what you think will happen if you don't get these 3 grants, putting aside the fact that you'll keep looking for additional grants. Is this a delay in phase 2?
We would restructure the phase. There would never be a half-built project. We will only close if we have a full financing package for each phase. So we would restructure that phase and move forward. And would there be a delay? Perhaps, but we would do our best to move forward as fast as we can if any sources aren't available. But this is the work we do, and we will adjust as necessary. But our hope is we're going to move forward on phase 1 this summer, and we hope we can close the following year on phase 2.
Okay, I think I would ask our executive director for updates, regular updates, like once we know about the grants and sort of the timetable for getting them, just pretty regular updates on the financing, just to know if there are any red flags or hurdles coming through, please.
Duly noted.
Ms. Cox.
So, Todd, I know what restructuring means, but can you please explain that for those that we have here today that may not?
Restructure, if we have to, let's say we don't have a source of financing that comes in, we would look towards other sources. So the choice grant is approximately $50 million, of which a large portion goes to housing. We are staggering it over time in phases. We would look at the way that is structured so that we could make sure that we're maintaining adequate progress as we go. So if there's a need to expedite some of the choice neighborhood funds earlier, because our source is not there, we would look at that. The Housing Authority is committed to money to the project that may be programmed later on. Maybe we'd look at that earlier. And there's different ways of restructuring a financial package if one source isn't available. Likewise, if we receive more money, or there's additional resources to come out, or the debt market gets better, if interest rates go down, we may be able to push more money towards the end. The strategy here is one where we have to constantly be able to look at strategies to get these developments done in a fashion that's quick, and in a fashion that responds to environments that are constantly changing and to what the needs are for residents. We want to get people back in their homes as fast as possible and in a way that's responsible, and we'll continue to do that.
I appreciate that. It's just funding's a little dicey right now. You know, we just don't know. And, but to be clear, because I know there's 50 million there, phase 1 is covered, correct? I just want to confirm, my understanding is phase 1 is, there's enough funding for that. We have enough to finish phase 1.
Correct.
Got it. Thank you. Thanks, Todd. I did have a question, though, if I could ask it. You talked about that, that moving takes place over 5 to 6 month period.
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm understanding you correct, that means literally that families or a person are moving over a 5 to 6 month period from one place to another.
Yes, well, it's moving all the families over a 5 to 6 months period.
Got it.
So, for example,
Thank you.
we've already
I
had.
wondered, I've said,
Okay.
this can't be right.
Yeah, no, it doesn't take 5 to 6 months to move each person. Yeah.
Thank you. That's what I thought, but I just wanted to clarify if I was the only one that heard that weird. So
Okay,
thank
sorry.
you.
Ms. Chair. So we have the $50 million grant. The overall cost of the project is how much?
It's-
350?
I think it's up to 450 right now.
Yeah, 400
Todd?
million. Somewhere around there, about $500 million, right?
Yeah.
So we do know that, between the CHF rounds that will be coming out from the county to include the home funds that will be solicited from other areas, there will be another opportunity through the state with the $1 billion initiative that was announced through the governor's office. I believe it was the Affordable, Attainable Housing Act or something like that. So, in between time, I think we'll all just continue to do our due diligence to go after any amounts of, our pockets of dollars that are out there. And I know that, we have the leadership here that's going to continue to, to vigorously go after it. But, we are all correct in being skeptical about funding right now, especially what's being reported out of, Washington, D.C. So, we just got to remain vigilant and really lean on Todd to ensure that if more obstacles do arise, we'll try to just go out to the private market and solicit other areas of funding. That's what I see. That's the way I see it.
I can
Very good.
just add, we will be as open and transparent as possible with changes in the environment, with updates on phases, and we're happy to be a fixture. If you would like us to present an update, we are happy to do that as we go. So we're your partners.
Very good. Any?
Okay, so my question is, once phase one is complete, are we moving residents in as soon as that is complete?
Yes.
If so, how many of those residents will be market rent? And can we use that to put back into 20% of phase one will be market rent? Total, okay. Are any of those people in phase one going to be market rent, and can we use those funds to offset what we need?
So there's a one-for-one replacement. So for the 35, 45 families that are moving out, they can either move back in or they can stay wherever they go. So they will continue to either receive subsidy from the site or subsidy through the voucher program. So none of them will be market. But as we build more units, I think we said 13% of the overall project will be market rate. 22%? Yeah, 22%, thank you. We'll start to see people filter in that way. What we don't want to do is redevelop the 140 units and just have that all be low income. We want to mix that up as well. Commissioner Turner had a question.
Mr. Turner? All right, so I'm still not clear. So is everybody leaving now, or are they going to leave in phases?
Yes.
So,
They are leaving in 5 phases. The first phase has started in January. We've already moved 7 people. About 30 people have received vouchers last week and coming up tomorrow. And so then we'll be working with them to move. They have through the end of May to be relocated.
but is it tied to the building of the phase? So if we only have money for phase one, are we just moving the people that are in the area for phase one?
Yeah, we're just moving for phase 1 now, but we will start moving phase 2 unless we get a big flag not to. Our plan is to start moving phase 2, start reaching out at the end of the year, and then moving them at the similar time next year. Does that make sense? And then the next phase.
It does, but it seems to me we need to be very careful. We start moving phase 2 and without knowing that we have any money.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So right now, so just to ease your mind, we're applying for the remaining funding that is unsecured for phase 2 right now. And we'll know where we stand on a real-time basis before there's a choice about exactly when demolition would start and relocation would start. So this is a process. We're working closely with all the consultants on both the financing, the relocation, and demolition to minimize disruption to residents.
Very good.
All right, I think that answers our questions for now, but obviously we want to stay informed.
We'll stay vigilant. I just wanted to remind the commissioners of, the importance of timeliness. If you all remember, 3 years ago, actually before I came, we were in the midst of a CNI planning grant. And normally what happens is that you complete the planning grant, you wait a year, and then you do the implementation grant. And so it was a decision of this board, with the insistence of me and staff, that said, let's go for the implementation grant right away. And that just normally does not happen. But we were confident, and obviously you were confident in us, to say, yeah, go for it, and we got it. You know, we're paying attention to DC, we're paying attention to the news, we're looking at the new HUD secretary and to see how our work and our vision aligns with the vision that he has. And I'm very pleased to say that there's nothing he's looking at that would be surprising to the work we do, particularly around resident self-sufficiency. So I'm really excited about the direction we're going, but we will keep you abreast. While it's not on the report, with some of our other projects, we hosted investors last week. We have investors come in from San Francisco and Chicago to look at our Senator Joe Neal property. And they, not only did we show them that property, we showed them everything else we're doing. And there are dollars and there are people out there that recognize the underfunding, if you will, we've had in Southern Nevada. And they're also recognizing the fact that the staff and I are getting things done, and they want to work with us. So, thank you. Are there any other questions on this? I'm going to have Rosie Lane come up and talk a little bit about the voucher program and some of that alphabet soup we use around different terms, and just to give commissioners an update on where we are.
Good afternoon, commissioners. This is Rosie Lane Garcia, Housing Programs Director. Yes, I'm going to tell you about I'm very glad, I'm very proud to share with you all what a Housing Choice Voucher is about. So the Housing Choice Voucher is formally known as Section 8. You know, it's a program that is funded through the HUD, through the Housing and Urban Development, and it's a federal program that assists low-income families and individuals to be able to afford safe and decent housing in the private market. How does it work? So first, we determine eligibility. We have to make sure that participants are income eligible. It's usually at or below 50% of the median income of the area. Once they are determined eligible, then we issue a voucher. And the voucher, it depends on the family size and depends also the type of unit that they need to obtain. And with that voucher, they're able to go to start their housing search. But before that, their participation, the tenant contribution is usually arranged between 30 to 40% of their income that goes towards the rent. And the voucher pays the rent, and it goes directly to the landlord. With that voucher in hand, then they can go do their housing search, and they have to make sure that the housing that they select is within the payment standards and it meets the standard requirements of safety and health. Portability. I wanted to mention about the portability because these vouchers, participants can take anywhere they want if they need to move outside the area. So they can take that voucher with them. Not all of them. I'll explain that a little later.
Okay, so are you just talking about one type of voucher now, or are you talking about all vouchers?
I'll go into the next slide and I'll let you know.
Okay.
Different.
Now, the voucher you're talking about, the money goes directly to the landlord?
Yes. Okay. Yes. So what's the connection? I wanted to share with you what's the relationship with the tenant, the landlord, and the housing authority, SNRHA. So the relationship between SNRHA and the tenant is that voucher. The voucher tells you how many people are in the household, how much are we going to be able to cover with a voucher, and that's the relationship between SNRHA and the tenant. The relationship between the tenant and the landlord is the lease. Tenants have to abide by whatever is in the contract, in the lease. And the relationship between the landlord and SNRHA, it's our housing assistance payment contract. So that's the relationship. So between the tenant and the landlord is the lease, between SNRHA and the landlord is the contract, and between SNRHA and the tenant is the voucher. So the types of vouchers. We have two different types of vouchers. We have the tenant-based voucher, which is attached to the individual or the family. And once the participant is approved and receives this voucher, they can use and rent any unit in the private market as long as the unit, again, meets the standards, safety and quality standards that are set by HUD. These vouchers are also eligible to be transferred. They can take it anywhere they want if they need to move. Currently, we have more than 11,000 vouchers that are tenant-based. And I'll bring more numbers afterwards. The second type of voucher we have is a project-based voucher. This project voucher, different than the tenant-based, is attached to the unit or to the development. They cannot take it. If a participant needs to move, then unfortunately the voucher stays with the unit for the next eligible participant. And if the participant, if the person wants a tenant-based voucher, then they would have to apply for it. Okay. I also wanted to mention something about the rental assistance demonstration. You probably have heard the word RAD, which it's a program that allows housing authorities convert some of the public housings that need renovation. And these allow us to also provide long-term project-based rental assistance with RAD. But these are also project-based vouchers. Okay? And these are not eligible for transfer or portability.
Okay, so the project-based voucher, that's a set amount of money?
It is a number, yes.
Okay, so for the units that are set aside, there's X amount of money that they are guaranteed for that forever, right?
Correct. And we have 1,500 vouchers allocated for the project-based currently. But there are more projects coming up for this year and next year, so we'll have more.
And when you say, through the chair, when you say they can take the voucher any place, what do you mean? What does any place include? You mean
Anywhere
outside?
in the United States.
So anywhere in the States? Oh,
Correct.
okay.
Yes, anywhere in the United States. So this is just the key differences. The tenant-based voucher, it's attached to the participant, and the project-based voucher is attached to the project or the unit. Okay?
Rosa, give clarity on the project-based voucher. When we say forever, it's through a contract period. So the project-based voucher.
Correct.
The project-based voucher may be for a period of time. So the Blind Center, we're giving them X amount of vouchers for X amount of years. After that voucher period expires, they can come back and say, we need these vouchers for X amount more years. But there is a point in which it stops, Mr. Chair, but we can continue to renew it.
And they're use that for their financing, right?
Yes.
All right,
Yes.
so it has to be for 10 years or 20 years or
20
something?
years, yes, correct.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Jordan.
Sorry for clarity. For the project-based vouchers and for RAD, those never, at no point can they take that voucher anywhere outside of the project or
No.
That's correct.
unit.
Correct,
Okay.
they cannot. It's attached to the unit.
Is there a set amount of units, like you have a fourplex, could you use it for the fourplex? Or is it more than how many?
It's attached to the unit. So the development that has applied for those vouchers, when they apply, they determine which units they are. It could be a studio, it could be a one-bedroom, a two-bedroom. So it depends in each development what type of units they have available.
Okay, so it's not a set number, like I have to have like 10 apartments to get a.
Once we have the
project-based
contract, yes, it is. It is, once we do the contract, it says 174 units, well, then it's 170 units, and it's unit 101, 102, 103, and that's not transferable. It's as for those specific units. So we also have a special program vouchers. So the special program vouchers they are designed to address some of the needs of our vulnerable population. And usually these special vouchers come with wraparound services, case management, or additional services to be able to help them be successful in their housing. And we partner with different agencies in order to provide those services. Because we provide the rental assistance administration, and these other organizations provide the case management, the social services support.
So we went and looked at some properties over there in the forest.
Yes.
Were those, that one building you said, I think there were 17 or something there. What kind of vouchers were those?
Tenant-based. Those were tenant-based vouchers.
Okay. And so that, she was getting that, so that was the tenant was taking the voucher. Now, does that money go directly to the landlord though, or is that?
No, once the service stops, we don't pay that landlord anymore. Because
I know, but when we were there, supposedly she was still getting the money. So
Yes.
was that money that we
Correct.
were giving directly to her?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
When you look at 100% of the rent, 70% comes through what's called a housing assistance payment. That's where we reach out to the landlord and say, here's your 70%. The tenant pays 30% of their income. And so that landlord, technically, on a monthly basis, should get two checks. Should get a check from the housing authority and then a check from the tenant.
But theoretically, I mean, not theoretically, she is vouching that that person is actually in one of her units.
Say it again, sir.
When we give a voucher to somebody for a tenant-based voucher, that the landlord is saying that person is in one of my tenant
Yes,
units.
that's correct.
So
Correct.
if we go there and see they're not there, then that's some kind of violation of some law.
Absolutely,
Yes,
yes.
you're absolutely
Yes,
right. That's right.
correct, yeah, no. That should not be happening. So the special programs vouchers, we have 1,400 vouchers allocated to these special programs, and I'm going to mention some of all of the special programs that we have. And I'm going to start with the Veterans Affairs Supportive Housing, which we call it VASH. So these is, we have a great partnership with the Veterans Affairs, with the VA. We provide the rental assistance administration and the subsidies, and they provide the case management, and they provide supportive services like mental health, counseling, transportation, whatever the veterans need. So we meet every week and we go over some of the clients' needs, and it's a very nice partnership. We have 1,300, a little over 1,300 vouchers allocated for veterans, and we're currently 100% utilized. We also have some project-based vouchers allocated for veterans, and we have 38 vouchers.
Okay, so on those, does the VA decide who gets those vouchers, or do we decide and use them for the project?
Very good question, and I'm sorry. So the eligibility is determined by the VA. They tell us who is eligible, but SNRHA determines how much the portion of the rent is and how big of the voucher or the unit that they will be having.
And we pick the project, right?
No, this is the client picks the project. If they say they want to go to this particular project and there is a voucher there, yes, it's a client's tenant selection.
But Mr. Chair, to your point, that project has to be approved by us through a inspection process.
It's not used for financing. It's something that will be to an existing building.
I'm sorry, could you?
The vouchers, those vouchers that you just talked about would not be used to finance the building, to construct the building.
Correct.
Oh, no.
That's
It's
just
for the
basic-
subsidy rent.
Basic rent.
Yeah. The next one I have is the Family Unification Program. And this Family Unification Program, it provides housing support to families that are referred through the child welfare system that has either to prevent separation from their children or to reunite the children from being separated. Sometimes one of the conditions to get their children back is to have stable housing. So it is very, we partner with child welfare systems to make sure that they have that. And we have 365 vouchers, and we're 100% utilized.
Is there a waiting list for that particular voucher program?
We don't have keep a waiting list, but the social services, they do. And we have recently applied, so we're waiting on response to see if we are getting more vouchers. So I'm hopeful. The next voucher, the next special is the mainstream vouchers. Mainstream vouchers are aimed for individuals and families that have some disabilities. And this also is a referral from the Clark County Social Services. And it's designed to help people find better opportunities of housing. The eligibility is people with disabilities who are 18 years of age and older, but under the age of 62. And they still have to meet the income eligibility and background check. So now, on this particular program, anybody in the household would meet the disability requirement. Okay. We'll see another program where the head of the household has to be the person with a disability.
So I see you're saying 74% of those are utilized. Is that the social services fault that we don't use 100%?
No, it's not necessarily. Remember that we are just going over a little bit of a shortfall. So we have some of the social services need to provide case management, and if they don't have the case management available, then unfortunately we don't get the referrals. But right now, mainstream vouchers. So the other thing that we need to, HUD considers 100% utilization of vouchers or 100% of expenditure on our finances. So if we have spent our money, even if we haven't reached to the 348 vouchers, we have to stop enrolling.
We don't know if this is underutilization. I mean, we may be spending 100% of the money.
Correct.
Do we know, or should we go back to the county and say, you need to get going, or?
Well, you know, if we can get more money, that would be wonderful. But we are under we're still recently getting out of shortfall. So we are watching very much our expenditure. For example, on VASH, we are over 100% of our expenditure. And so, and we're getting new vouchers, 99 more vouchers. So we have to watch very carefully how many vouchers we are, and I'll show you how many more are out there on Housing Search. Because not only the ones that are already leased, but we also have to make sure that we manage the people that are out there searching, so we don't go over to the allocation that we are given by HUD.
Question, how do individuals know about these mainstream vouchers? How is that posted?
So these are direct referrals from the Department of Social Services.
Okay.
So, yeah, they don't come from, it's not on our waiting list.
So from Clark County, DFS
Correct.
has to send it?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes. The next one is the emergency housing vouchers. These vouchers were in response to a specific crisis, and in this case, it was COVID-19 pandemic. So these vouchers have already been exited. We are not able to issue any more new vouchers, ended in September 30th of 2023. But the ones that we still have, out of the 586, we still have 61% of the people that are leasing. And so once they are exit, we are not able to renew them or giving the vouchers to anybody else. No more, no. Since 2023, so. The next one is the Foster Youth Initiative, which is also part of the Family Unification Program, but this one it's more than anything focusing on the young adults that are just exiting the foster youth, and these are the efforts to help them become independent. So this is, we have only 25 vouchers. These are also referrals from the Child Welfare Office, and we have a 32% utilization. We are ready to get more referrals from the Department of Welfare. But like I said, sometimes the case management or the support services that they need is not necessarily there. But
I think Commissioner McCurdy and I should sit down with social services and you and figure out what's going on here, because we need to, if they're out there, we need to use them.
Absolutely, yes. The next one is the non-elderly disabled vouchers, also known as NED. So these are also vouchers that are designed for families that are, or for individuals that have some type of disability. It is also, the eligibility is for anybody who is under the age of 62, and but they still also have to meet some, the income criteria. In this case, for this particular vouchers, the head of the household has to meet the requirement of the disability. We have a little over 1,500 vouchers, and we are on 74% utilization. The next one, I wanted to just give you a graph of how our vouchers are being distributed. More than half of our vouchers are others, which is our general waiting list. The other half is between our special programs and our project base. Here is the annual contribution contracts. So these, I it's the same numbers I was giving you is specifically for each of the special programs, but here you have altogether a breakdown of details of how many units or how many vouchers were allocated for each particular program and what is the utilization percentage. In some cases, is the funding has been met or the vouchers, we have reached out the max amount of vouchers. The next one is, I wanted to share with you what has been the Housing Choice Voucher impact. So in the last in the year 23, 24, and currently in 2025, we have over 13,000 households that are receiving rental assistance administration. And that means that there is more than almost 32,000 people that we're touching with our services. So that is families, children, spouses, or parents. We only have 223 vouchers currently on Housing Search. Most of them are from folks that are porting into Las Vegas, and we are not absorbing those vouchers. We are going to be billing the housing authorities where these vouchers are being originated from.
Rosa, talk a little bit about what that means, absorbing versus billing.
So last year when I started here, everybody that would come to Las Vegas, we were absorbing and say, okay, we'll take you over, and we would pay for those subsidies. Right now, because of our shortfall, since last year, we said, anybody who comes to Las Vegas, the housing authority that originated this transfer would have to continue paying for that until we are able to absorb it. So what we do is we build that housing authority, all the actions and everything, rent, everything to that housing authority. Okay.
Can you back up to the percentages? I know that, isn't there an issue about what percentage we use as far as trying to get more vouchers? Isn't that a criteria?
Well, yes.
Okay, so I thought it had to be over 95% or 98% or something, but is that 92% reflect that, or is that a different percentage?
Okay, so there is a specific tool that follows every of our enrollments and our utilization, and that's called the 2-year tool. On that year tool, we are over 100% utilization because as an overall agency, not in particular program. So as an overall agency, and this is is not very usual, but we are over 100% on our expenditure, and we are over 100% also in our voucher utilization as a whole.
Congratulations, that's fantastic.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So that's our impact. And now I want to invite Duwanda Campbell. She's our eligibility program manager that I want you to hear from her, our waiting list.
Fred Herring, Chief Administrative Officer. Before Duwanda comes, I just want to make one correction. Currently, we're not in the shortfall. Our funding period for our Section 8 program, our Housing Choice Voucher Program, is from January through December. So this January starts the new fiscal year. So you see the 92% that we are now, but we have the whole year to get up to 100%.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. My name is Duwanda Campbell. I'm the manager of the Eligibility Department. And I just wanted to talk briefly on how we're doing with our wait list. We do have a current wait list that's open right now, but we just wanted to reflect on some of the numbers we've had over the last 2 years. So you'll see for the HCV, for 2023, we were at about 8,297. The numbers went down dramatically, which is usually a good thing because that means we're housing our applicants. 2024, we went from 7,598, and in 25, we're at 7,336. For the most part, even though that wait list is closed, we do have some applicants that tend to either move, port out, or sometimes if they go to another program, we'll end up losing those applicants. So that's why those wait list numbers are going down. For the project-based vouchers, we started off with the 13,813. For 2024, we went down to 9,207. We did a purge in June. Yeah, think it was like June of 2024. We went through all of those wait lists. We purged applicants. They were still interested. Most of them responded, some didn't. Those that did not respond, we took them off that waiting list, which explains why those numbers went down dramatically. For 2025, we opened the wait list back up, and that wait list for the project-based voucher is still open. So those numbers will continue to fluctuate because we have this wait list open, it's a constant turnaround. So some people, either if they are accepted for public housing, or if they move, or if they eventually get housed, they'll come off that wait list. For the public housing, we started off with the 33,420, and again, when we did that purge in June, that took a lot of people off of that wait list, and again, mostly because they were either on another program, or they had previously been housed, or if they just did not respond to those letters, we had to take them off, just so we can kind of get more control of what was going on with our wait list. But of course, in 2024, we opened the wait list back up again, and here we are, those numbers going back up. So right now, because the wait list is open, it's a constant fluctuation, but again, we are diligently working on getting everyone off that wait list and getting them housed, but the process can be a little tedious, but those are the numbers we are at right now. Do you have any questions?
Not about you, but going back to the project-based vouchers, my understanding is we can do 20%. Is that 20%? What's the total that the 20% comes to? Do you understand my question? No, this is not for you. This is for Rosa.
I'm sorry, could you repeat that question?
Yeah, so my understanding is of the total number of vouchers, 20% of those can be project-based.
Correct, yes.
So what is the number
Oh.
that the 20% would apply to?
We're very low right now. We're not even close to the 20%. I remember 24.5. No. With the percentage, but we're not even on 3% last time we talked to Sam.
Well, so we could do
That's not what he
2,400,
asked.
is you're saying?
Yeah.
Yes.
So what the commissioner is asking, what is the total number of vouchers that we base that 20% on?
Oh, that is a total, which is our, the 12,228.
And so 20% of that, there you go.
Correct.
Okay, and of that, how many do we actually use right now? Approximately.
It's right here. So our project-based vouchers, right now we have 521 project-based and 984 RAD project-based. So the sum of both, those two, that's our total project-based,
So about 1,500.
about 1,500.
All right, and it sounds like with 12,000, we could do 2,200, 2,400?
Correct.
All right.
And that's what we're working, I remember you asked the
that's what-
question.
that's
We're
what I was-
working on that
Yeah.
strategy.
Okay,
Yes,
great,
sir.
and you'll work with us on that?
Yes,
Okay, great,
perfect.
thank you.
I have a question about the wait list numbers. Is that information public?
Not yet.
Okay.
And I just wanted to clarify something about the waiting list. These are unduplicated numbers of people. So if somebody applied to 5 different developments, we are counting once only. Okay?
So I have a question about the waiting list numbers too. You said that you'd like to get everybody off, but realistically, we do not have 38,000 available units or vouchers, and so we can't move everyone on the waiting list into one of our opportunities.
We cannot.
We cannot. And
Okay, because when you said that, I was like, we're not going to be able to, so I think we just need to be honest.
And Commissioner, thus the strategy of having a landlord partnership program, the strategy of using project-based vouchers, the strategy of building and collaborating with developers so that we can get more units. But you're absolutely right. We don't have enough doors to address this issue.
Any more questions?
All right, did you have anything further, Rosa? Okay. Well, anyway, this was incredibly helpful to me.
Thank you.
I'm sure I'll forget it all in 5 minutes, but just shows how complicated this is, and the fact that you understand all this is fantastic, so
And-
thank you for. Yes.
A couple of us have a request moving forward, because you've made lots of great presentations since I've been on the board. Can we send out all of the presentations that you make in a subsequent email to all of the commissioners, please?
Yes.
Or even post them on the website?
They are. All our presentations are on the website.
Okay, thank you. Very good. And if I may just have a couple more things, and Vice Chair, perfect segue. We're going to have Dino come up and give a brief presentation of our new and improved website.
Speaking of which, hello Commissioners, I'm Dean Enriquez, Director of IT. I'll be going over the new website that we launched about 3 months ago and going over the major improvements. What you have right now is the old website, so I want to show you some screenshots of where we came from. So this is the old website. It's definitely got an older style to it, not too user-friendly, a little bit too busy actually. So that was the original homepage. This right here is sort of like our board meeting page. Again, it just shows one meeting, a lot of words, not a whole lot of useful information there except that one date. This is our wait list page as well. This is the old one again. Again, not too user-friendly, just kind of just a lot of words and not too modern. This is a listing of all our properties, just the typical Google Maps drawing, kind of showing where everything is located across the valley. And this was our original feedback page where people could just send information of their contact information, we can get back to them. But as you can see, it's a very open forum, and so people would leave information that didn't have relevant phone numbers or emails, and we can really get back to them, and so not very user-friendly. So now we'll take you to the new website. So this is the homepage now. As you can see, it's very more modern looking. We put a search bar there, big buttons that are pretty self-explanatory, so just a lot more aesthetically pleasing. You've even got a nice picture of all you folks on the leadership page. Scroll down one more. We're missing one person. There you go. This is our new board meeting page. As you could see all the future dates, times, and agendas as well, so you can plan ahead. This is also our wait list page, if you scroll down a little bit. So a lot more user-friendly. As you could see 7 steps. What we've incorporated here is some video, which is a great way to sort of instruct people how to operate or how to use this page. Do you want to click on that video, Tommy? So just as an example. We won't make you watch the whole video, just kind of showing you kind of like good video instruction and how to use the forms. And then again, we use the same Google Maps, but if you scroll down, you can actually do filters. So let's pick a particular area. Just pick one. Maybe bedrooms as well. Okay. And then you could drill down on just any one of these, and it's very visual, gives you a lot more information. And this right here is our new feedback page. As you can see, we've got mandatory fields, and you can actually put down phone numbers, email, contact, things that are useful for us so we can get back to you. The best part we like is, from the IT perspective, managing this page. This is how we used to do it. We used to have to manage it by using a text editor and having to know HTML coding and CSS and JavaScript and things like that. And so now we just use this admin tool it looks like this. And so it's very intuitive, and you just basically upload pictures or images or text. Makes it much more simpler, so a lot more people can support this website. So the next steps for us to try to improve this site, we're really into digital inclusion, language access. There's a sample website right there for Nevada Disability, and there's an accessible link on the right corner top. When you click on that, you get that fancy toolbar up there that can kind of help you if you're disabled. If you're colorblind or have issues with hearing, you can change the font, the color, things like that. So we're looking at incorporating those features. And then finally, we're also looking to incorporate some AI, some artificial intelligence, like a chatbot, so that we can get people to get their questions answered quicker. That's it. Any questions or comments? Yes.
Yes, I deal with a lot of seniors, and so this age of technology has not quite caught on to a huge population of our. And so the question is, this is all I hear, can somebody help me? Because I can't do this. I don't know nothing about computers. Why they do it like that? I don't know. I can be calling them. I need help. This is what I hear all the time. So what I'm trying to say is there designated persons or people that are able to give and contribute time to individuals that really needs this help around this technology? That is one part of it.
And the answer is yes.
Okay.
The website is just one of the many tools that we use for communication. We have a call center. We have an after-hour call center. We have hours where people can walk in. This is just one of the many enhancements that we have around communications. And I think for any of you who've gone out to it before, this is light years better than it was a couple years ago. Yes. But Commissioner, your point is well taken.
So they can come in.
Absolutely.
And because I think they're very intimidated, and so a lot of the older. The other part is, I noticed that in the libraries, and which is probably something that it might be a partnership. I don't know if it's sometime that 3 or 4 computers might be available for use for us, and maybe once a month you might host a session where some residents might come in and through the library district and utilize that time to learn how to use the system, or have someone there that can help them understand how these processes, just a little bit more front and out there amongst the people that maybe they can utilize that help in person, by using a computer.
Point well taken, and we're strengthening our relationship with the library district. If you recall, in some of our earlier phases of Marble Manor, library district donated Chromebooks. As we talk about future development and redevelopment phases, we're trying to figure how we can make the library an integral part of our process. So yes, we're always opportunity to do more, but yes, we are having those conversations.
And I'm glad to see that money that we put down for this technical stuff is actually paying off.
That's what we do.
Thank you.
I just want to make a comment.
Sure.
I think the new website is amazing. I feel like
Thank
most
you.
people are visual learners, and just being able to have that video on there to kind of give them a guide on how to utilize the website. And then adding those photos and just making it more than just words on a screen, and not inviting to look at or want to sit down and play with. So I think that you all did a wonderful job with
Thank you.
implementing
Thank you for
that.
the compliment.
Yes, you're welcome.
Any other questions?
Okay, thank you, Dino.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, Commissioners, in our last presentation kind of leads up to all the things we've talked about. In order for us to be a viable entity in this community, we have to have tools and processes that want people to play and work with us. I'm going to have Paula come up and just give a brief overview of something we're calling an impact report as it relates to the information that we provide and support we provide in the community.
Good afternoon again, Commissioners. Paula Tucker, Director of Supportive Services. You all should have received a copy of our 2024 Rose Foundation annual or impact report. I'm just going to give you the highlights real quick. So as you'll see, there's a copy of the big check that we issued, all of the escrow from the FSS graduates for the year. Some of you were able to attend that graduation, so that's our big highlight moment. And then a picture, of course, of Mr. Jordan and HUD Secretary, Acting Secretary Adrian Todman, when she came to visit to issue our C&I checks and the check for the Job Plus grants. And then if you turn to the next page, you will see it just kind of lists Rose Foundation, what it is, what our mission is, just some of the things, our mission and our purpose, and then some of the services that we offer. On the third page, it kind of just gives you our foundation impact, some of the key points or some of the things that we actually offer during the year, which includes things like job training, financial literacy, transportation services, food and nutritional services, safe living environments, and various other services. It also highlights some of our programs for the year, which included all of our different self-sufficiency programs, ROS, FSS. Our Jobs Plus program has been rebranded to be called FLEX, which means Fostering Lasting Employment Experiences. Our Senior Resident Program, Housing Choice Voucher Program, Landlord Liaison Program, and Emergency Fund Assistance. And then all of our annual events, which includes the Affordable Housing Forum, the Dr. Martin Luther King Parade, Family Tailgate Resource Fair, Back to School Drives, Celebration of Aging, the FSS graduation, and our holiday events, which many of you participate in and contribute to. We appreciate that. Then just some of the lives that were impacted, just some pictures of some of our families that were impacted by some of the efforts. On the back page, some of our, all of our donors throughout the year that contributed. We have a lot of really big name donors like Las Vegas Raiders Foundation, Western Alliance Bank, Federal Home Loan Bank of San Francisco, and a lot of our employees actually donate to the Rose Foundation as well. So we appreciate that. And then if you look, there's a barcode or a QR code that you can actually scan. If you're talking about or bragging about our Rose Foundation to some of your colleagues, they can actually donate to the foundation through this QR code. And then you will also soon find a link directly from our webpage to, and we're under Rose Foundation to this impact report, so you can share this with others actually at the same time. So if you have any questions, I can try to answer them. If not, that's all I have. Thank you so much.
I was going to ask, what's the annual budget or?
Well, I can tell you that as far as from 2024, we raised $138,484 over the year before, which was only $58,530. So we did a great job. And most of that, I will tell you, is we must attribute that to Miss Lee Quick. We appreciate her so much.
And just
give yourself a bonus.
Just to take it a step further, in 2021, we had $19,000 coming in for the Rose Foundation. 22, we had $28,000. In 23, we had $58,000. And as just mentioned, in 24, we received $138,000. And again, this is a result of, let's give it up, yes. And it also speaks to our image and the increased confidence that the community has in us to be a partner. I can't understate that enough. People want to say they want to be a part of the Housing Authority. And, you know, when Lee and others call and say we're doing this, you know, unlike sometimes in the past where people, I'm not sure I want to be aligned. People want to be aligned with us now because we're doing great work, and it's really appreciated.
Yeah, they call us now. We don't have to always call them.
Exactly.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Paula. Just a couple other things. I want to thank commissioners who were able to attend and sent your well wishes because you couldn't attend. But we had a wonderful meeting with the governor the other day. And, you know, here's an example of, again, you know, renewed partnership and collaboration. We had a very, very short notice. The governor said, I can be here on this day. This is the only time I could see you. And we jumped on that. But here's a couple pictures. Commissioner Cox, thank you for being there, and I know others attempted to be there, but we were certain in letting the governor know that from a board perspective, you all appreciated the opportunity. The picture with me and the governor on the left side, that's a representation of the the Homes Meets Nevada money that the state gave, and to a point made earlier about uncertainty with financing, we asked the governor, would there be a Home Meets Nevada Part 2? And he said in his big bill, he's looking to see how he can put more money towards building affordable housing. Thank you. And then the last piece, I want to thank you all, those who could attend the tours that we did, and know that there are still tours that will be available. But it's important that you get an opportunity to see the things that you govern from a board standpoint. And Commissioner McCurdy, I wanted to recognize the recognition that former board member Commissioner McCurdy Sr. received yesterday from the city of Las Vegas for his commitment to the community. And let's give him a hand. And Mr. Chair, that concludes my report.
Thank you. All right. So next would be the finance approval request to write off. Does anyone?
They're on the consent.
Oh, it's on the consent, okay.
Yeah.
So we're going to go ahead and do the consent. We'll make a motion.
I move to approve the consent agenda items.
Okay. There's a motion and a second. Cast your vote. Aye. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Neutral? The ayes have it. Okay. All right, item number 8.
The acknowledgement of the departed. We just have a moment of silence for these individuals who have died since the last time we met. Nathaniel Johnson, Tyrone Bowman, Sharon Cadaz, Jesse Bolero, Marvin Dawson, Lydia Nueva, Alaziz Moore, James Ferraro, Sharon Jones. Thank you.
Thank you. And then the final item will be development and modernization, approval of a fixed award contract.
Good afternoon, Frank Stafford, Director of Development and Modernization. This item is for the approval award of a firm fixed contract for energy upgrades and rehab construction to Validity Construction. The Modernization Department requests approval to award a contract for the above noted services pursuant to IFB B25016 for a period of 4 months and a not to exceed amount of $581,715.75. There's a Section 3 component to this contract that's pursuant to 24 CFR Part 75, of which Related Construction is aware and will comply should the opportunity become available. Mrs. Zane Burke is present at this meeting to answer any question the board may have. We received 3 bids for this particular project, of which Related Construction had the fair and reasonable bid that was submitted. Action requested is the Executive Director's requesting Board of Commissioners review and approve and award contract number C25016 to Validity Construction in the amount of $581,715.75.
Motion to approve contract number C250162 Validity Construction in the amount of $581,715.75.
Is there a second? Second. All right, there's a motion and a second. Cast your vote. Aye.
Aye.
That's unanimous. Thank you.
I need
All
some,
right, so-
excuse me, Mr. Chairman.
Oh.
I need a little clarity on Section 3. He said, if it becomes available, what does that mean? I mean,
Well, let's ask Frank.
yeah, can you break that down to me?
We have a Section 3 requirement in all of our contracts.
Okay.
And the way it's worded by HUD is to the greatest extent feasible. And what that sort of means that Validity Construction, when they're the general contractor that's awarded this job. So as far as them being the general and any subcontractors that they have, if they need any new hires for this particular job, they have to reach out to the Housing Authority for Section 3 eligible residents before they can hire anybody. We require a list of all of the employees from the Validity Construction as well as their subs prior to the contract being started, and we do certified payroll monitoring. So if we notice any new employees showing up on those certified payrolls that weren't disclosed at the beginning, then that would trigger that there's been new hires, and we need to make sure that they reached out to us with Section 3 prior to that. If they're not hiring anybody new for that job, then they're not required. But if there's new hires, then they have to do that Section 3 outreach.
So I through the chair, I understand trusting and building relationships, but I think it's important for us to take a more active role in trying to find individuals and or companies to fill those roles, because we're while the activity is great and the Sections 3 is in the contracts, in terms of what we're doing to meet those requirements in terms of helping within the community those to get out of dire situations and help themselves to grow. I think we have more of a responsibility to do it. How we structure it is, I think that we have to come together as a team and find more and put more teeth into Section 3. I don't think it's enough. And again, that's just...
So if I can just offer a point of clarity, Mr. Chair. So if I'm not correct, or correct me if I'm wrong, the presentation we made earlier around what we're looking at doing differently, once that becomes approved by the board, things that we're going to ask all of our contractors to do will look totally different than the, am I correct there, Johnny? Yeah, so again, we gave you a snapshot earlier of what we're looking to do. You know, Frank is rightfully operating from where we are today.
Okay.
But once we get that done, sit down and say, this is our new Section 3 program, going forward, every contractor, so it will have a little more teeth. And if they say they're not hiring people, we'll say, when does your training program start? Okay. Things of that nature. So I just wanted to give that clarification.
So to be all-inclusive then, so once we implement the new set of circumstances.
Yes.
Okay.
And that should answer a lot of the questions.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Answers that. Thank you.
Thank you, Frank.
And to that point, I'm sorry that he mentioned the Section 3. I didn't know how you reach out to the unions, the trade unions and things like that, the apprenticeships. That might be something else to, consider when trying to put a little bit more so the people that can are already ready for this work that's coming.
Okay, I would have to get you an answer on that particular question.
Thank you so much, and I think we voted on that already. So looks like we're now ready for new business. Anyone have a?
Do you want to just take another vote, just because there was some discussion after the vote?
All right, we want to take another vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, that passes. All right, now, new business. Anyone have new business? Yes.
It's not so new, but hopefully it'll give us a highlight of what's going on. And this might be a Frank Stafford question. Approximately how many units, after looking at that astronomical number of waiting lists, I know we can make a little dent in that, but approximately how many units will we have online in about the next 5 years? I know we have several projects going, but, just...
Frank knows that number to the penny.
Oh, yes.
Well, with all of our new construction, with Home Means Nevada preservation, as well as the CNI with Marble Manor, we're looking at approximately 1,350 to 1,400 units. The majority of those will be new units.
Okay. So we're making a dent. Thank you.
Anyone else have any new business? Seeing no one will close the meeting and open up for public comment. Second period for public comment. I have cards here. Brandy Harvey. You want to come forward?
She might be in the bathroom. No, she's coming.
Hello, everyone. My name is Brandy Harvey. I am a former employee of SNRHA. I put my notice in about 2 days ago. I'm finally not in fear anymore of retaliation, so I'm free to speak. I want to start off with, there has been numerous complaints from staff regarding the managers and their superiors. I've also emailed Mr. Jordan Lewis Also emailed Miss Lee Quick about the treatment across the street. I don't know if any of you guys have walked over there, seen what it's like, heard what it's like. I also emailed Ms. Cox as well and Mr. McCarty before. You did have your secretary get back with me. However, nothing was done. I recently put a complaint in to HUD and to Human Resources as well as Miss Rhonda Jackson, whose uncle stays in Robert J. Gordon, has been put at the top of the list, and any of her friends and family. And I have the proof here for that of a post-it here where she says here, Stephanie, you need to correct the lease date as this is my uncle. I don't know about you, but that sounds like give this person special privilege. And according to HUD and according to the handbook, that is against policy and automatic termination. You cannot work your family member's files. You cannot tell other people. You shouldn't even have access to your family member's files. She also receives emails from Robert J. Gordon stating your uncle rent is due. So he's put at priority. And not to mention I think this is about the 8th time they had to redo Robert J. Gordon's contracts and leases and things like that. And I can send this proof over as well. And in the handbook and with HUD, it says you cannot work your family members' files. So that's one of the things I wanted to bring up as well. And then I have here, when I went to Human Resources with this information, they were more concerned about who took the picture and who was the whistleblower versus confronting Ms. Jackson about putting family members first, which the public has always said that they have been putting their family members first over there. I was told that maybe I was being coerced, but I have the proof here with her signature stating to put her uncle before everyone else. And then this is just, after this I'm done. This is just a little snippet of when I went to HR. And I don't know if you need to correct the lease. Can you hear it? As this is this is me with HR complaining because they shouldn't be able to skip residents.
If you had uncle, I just could put this out there. You have uncle, AC, going to, I guess, conversion or whatever it is to PBV, affordable to PBV. Yes. What would you do? I would put it in a stack and say, can you, to be completed with the rest of the lease ups and contracts.
I would not say,
okay,
this is my uncle, so do it.
You say a lot of people have a copy.
All right, thank you. Have you given that information, or that tape to Human Resources or anyone?
This is Human Resources that I sat down with to file the complaint with, and they did nothing.
Yeah, I understand.
She's still over there putting family and friends first.
I understand that, but has anyone, so we have all that information?
Yeah, no, okay. I don't know if I'll be more than happy to email it to you guys, but
So, if I may, Mr.
Human
Chairman.
Resources has it.
All right, so at this point, you put it all on the record. I would ask, because you have your state of facts to be delivered over to Mr. Jordan, and if Mr. Jordan, you can share that with the commissioners.
Okay, yes.
Duly noted.
And then also here, I just have really one quick question, and then I'm done.
You're over the time
Oh,
limit.
it
I'm
is?
sorry.
Okay, no worries.
All right.
I just wanted to know, how is a no-call, no-show for an employee with no disciplinary action issue a termination, but a manager ordering a staff member family to file their person first priority, not grounds for termination?
All right, thank you. We heard the message.
Okay,
All right.
I'll be back at the next one with the
Okay.
rest.
All right, there's a Lane Carruthers. Lanika, I'm sorry, Lanika.
Hello. My name's Lanika Carruthers, and I stay in Scatter Sites. So I just want to take a moment to address the upsetting experience I had during a previous board meeting. I came to share my opinion on an important matter, and I was really interrupted by the chairman who stated all I want is money, when it had nothing to do with money but getting charges for window screens I never had on my property when I moved in August in 2020. In any professional settings, especially in a board like ours, it's important that we have respect and be able to discuss matters that concern us. When Chairman made that statement, it's not only silenced my voice, but also suggested that what I said did not matter. My voice will not be silenced, and I will be heard. Just like we have to respect you, you should have to respect me and others who come up here. When I was speaking, there was moments when my points were dismissed or overshadowed, not just through direct interruptions, but through body language and rude remarks. It also has felt as my opinion was not valued. You can scare others from coming up here to speak up, but you can't scare me. Every voice deserves to be heard when we feel empowered to share our thoughts without interruption, dismissal, or retaliations. To Chairman, I ask you to reflect on your actions. Leadership demands more than authority. It requires empathy, understanding from each others who step forward to share their thoughts and to be treated with dignity and respect. And last time I did come to the board meeting, my manager, Casey, he did email me stating that, he said, I was informed today that at the board meeting that you asked, that I was asked to remind you that if you do not agree with my decision on the informer setting letter on November 23rd, 2024, that you have the right to appeal the decision by submitting the written request for informer hearing on the attachment that he have sent to me in the mail. This was on December 5th. I responded back, was like, I already did respond back to the hearing officer, and I'm just waiting for a letter. But then I also told him that I never got my last utility check, and he never responded back to that. So all we need is just respect from you, because you were so rude to me, and that was unnecessary. So if you don't like your job, you don't have to sit up there. And my time is not up, so don't interrupt me again, because last time you interrupted me before my time was over. So that's why I'm here today, and I waited to give this speech when you was here, and I'm here. I didn't say my speech last time because you wasn't here. But now that you're here, give us our respect. It says if we're interrupted, we will be asked to leave. You should have been asked to leave last time when you said all I want is money, and you kept interrupting me. So all I want is respect, like we have to give y'all respect.
I apologize. I was wrong, and I sincerely apologize.
You should have been did that when I was up there and speaking.
Well, anyway, I apologize for my behavior, and I won't do it again. Ms. Carpenter. Oh, I'm sorry. We have a Donna Clark. Dana Clark, I'm sorry. Donna, okay.
I'm a consumer of the housing, and I've been a consumer since Bush the son was president. And if it wasn't for the voucher system, I would not, I'm 70 now, and I would not be able to live by myself and afford my housing. Initially, my reasons to come here was to ask, what is HUD doing in DC, and how will my voucher be affected? And would I be thrown outside? And I already know you don't have no answer, because you didn't have an answer for those other people. However, if something happens and I lose my voucher, what is the city and the county gonna do? There is no rent control in the state of Las Vegas. Rent is very bad. And if you come from where I come from and see what I see, there's a lot of homeless people on the street right now. A lot of seniors go to the library when they're giving out lunches. Okay? Now, that's what I came here initially for. You may not have an answer because you don't know, but certainly the county or the city can do something. What are you going to do? There's a lot of people on vouchers. Now, since I've been here, I heard something very interesting. I'm from Las Vegas. I was born and raised here. And my heart hurts. It hurts whenever I go to the west side for what it has not done. But I know they've had plans for 40 years for the west side, because I heard Jan Jones say it. Marble Manor. If you want to get into some news, you go to Mario's. And that's when I heard that they was tearing down the Marble Manor. Now, I don't know who they talked to, but the people in Mario's are upset because this is a community that you're breaking up. And Las Vegas is a very unique place in that the majority of the landowners that was on the west side were black. There were never that many projects on the west side or housing. That's a community over there. And you're offering them vouchers, we got a saying in the hood, and you think that's for you, huh? You ask the people who, I'm guessing, I don't know, that it was a capital investment, the partnership. And usually what happens is, when that contract goes away, the price increases. If DIE, or IDE, DC say, no black folks, no women, no disabled, all that is out. And my time is up. But what I want to say is, if the funding does not come through, and it will not come through, because that might be the plan. And incidentally, you should have put the baseball field over on the west side, but moreover, if that plan does not come through, what will happen? It will return to capital investment. And I am very sad that the only option, because you're breaking up a community. People have been there 20, 30 years since I was a child. And let me hurry up and get through this. Let me get my thoughts together. I'm very sad to know that NACA was not an option for these people. And NACA is where a person can buy a home. When that voucher, or whenever that plan for the capital investment that y'all did at Marble Manor goes away, because it will, from what I understand about it. Her daughter graduated from college, she can live over there. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Carpenter.
Good afternoon, Phyllis Carpenter, 5200 Alpine. I am here today to address some serious concerns about the lack of accountability, improper procedures, and ongoing issues with SNRHA. First, there is no real process for filing a complaint against SNRHA or its employees that goes anywhere beyond their office. Hold on, I lost my... Hold on, complaints, and it seems to be dismissed or ignored. When I had my formal hearing, the process was completely illegal and not the same as on my lease. One of the complaints against me was that I was allegedly yelling and being disruptive at the window. However, an employee actually started yelling at me first, and when I asked where was his statement, I was told that they no longer worked there, which is a lie. As well as PSI said that May had called them to be at the construction site 24/7 specifically for me, but yet they couldn't come up with a picture to prove that I trespassed on the site. Next, I want to address PSI security. On February 9th, I called to report that there was literally people in the laundry room with tents, as well as people camping out behind the dumpsters. Instead of handling the situation professionally, Security Officer Dustin Love was extremely rude and unprofessional. I urge you to listen to the call and you judge for yourself. Regarding the air testing in my apartment, the results have been inconsistent and concerning. In September, my air test results were 310 and 170. By November, those results had jumped to 1,400 and 720. Then in January, they dropped again to 770 and 480. And now they are, hold on, and so each one of those air tests costs $2,758. Yet none of the reports mention anything about moisture levels. According to the housing quality standards, A moisture meter should be used, not air test. Why aren't they following the procedures? Another major issue is I was scheduled for a phone appointment with Ava in May regarding my transfer. I've moved 7 times in the last year, and they want to transfer me again. I did not ask to be transferred. I did not ask for a reasonable accommodation to move, yet someone placed me at the top of the list. I have no idea why, and I demand answers. Finally, I still have not been reimbursed for my utility transfers from all of the moves I was forced to make. I have submitted the necessary documents to multiple people multiple times, yet nothing has been done. This is completely unacceptable. These issues need to be addressed immediately, and I expect accountability, transparency, and proper procedures to be followed. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else here wishing to speak? Seeing no one, we'll close the hearing for February 20th. Thank you.